Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the. I was going to say 3-for-1, Paul. Oh my god, I've nicked the stream link off. Every week I take the stream link from the Sky script I used to use, and it was just in front of me then. Welcome to Nip and a Half podcast and Fantasy Football Hub. On this, where are we? I completely lost track of everything last week. Monday evening. Monday evening at 6:00. Welcome everyone. Great to have you with us, and welcome Paul. Fantasy seems such a long time ago, especially FPL. Obviously, we had some stuff on the weekend, but
feels like there's possibly been the longest period of time since we've known each other that I've not spoken to you. Like,
it probably is actually. Even over the summer period, we still sort of keep in touch and things. But yeah, it has been a long time, and I think the change in the weather has made it maybe even a bit more. It feels like we've literally switched seasons, and it's because it's sunny and beautiful outside. I was taking it's still grey and dreary up in Scotland. But
today it's actually been all right, in fairness.
Like a balmy 5 degrees up by you, is it? But,
that's it.
How was your international break, and how was your fantasy teams looking?
The international break started off all right because I went over to Greece for 24 hours to watch Scotland play, and we won 1-0, so that was amazing. And then came back and then got pumped 3-0 at home, so not so amazing. The week so far in fantasy football has been pretty good, I think. Yeah, I was quite annoyed that maybe wanted to start on Telegraph because I transferred in Haaland at the weekend.
Oh, you transferred him in. Oh wow, yeah. The penalty miss and likely injury. What's your take on that? Have you seen the pictures of him with a boot and crutches and stuff? Do you think he's going to be out for a while, or?
I don't know why they would risk it, like, on that basis. I think he'll miss the next two and then see from there.
Yeah. Sell though, I think.
Yeah. In which formats? Not
well
in the mall.
Probably
in the mall, probably.
If you brought him in TFF, you know you're not far off down to single figures now. So again, it's this whole thing now, this end team sort of thing, and it is where do you want to finish up? Because take him out unless you daisy chain, just transfer back in later on, and it's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm still in two minds there. I might just move him on to Mateta.
Should we start with Telegraph?
Yeah.
How's your team looking?
Oh, that's quite a good weekend, that. So, my cousin plays Telegraph. You've met my cousin, Chris before.
Yeah.
And we're playing in a league where there's like a cup game goes on the side, and it's on the FA Cup weekends. And I was playing him this weekend, and we had exactly the same points going into the Bournemouth Man City game. And he asked me who I had played in the game, and I told him, and he's like, "Oh, I've got exactly the same players as you, apart from I had one additional player to him." Factoring in the person's points had already contributed in there, so it's a whole case of, is that person going to do well or not? And as he was messaging me, Man City got the penalty, and Kepa was the difference in our two teams. So he was spewing, and I didn't even realise that. I didn't even realise it was 5 points for a penalty save as well. I thought it was 3.
Yeah.
So, which testifies to how much I read the rules. But 8 points from Kepa, which was great. That when you convinced me live on air to get Mark Gehi in was just like one of the best transfers. What's that? Six away clean sheets in a row for Crystal Palace.
Is that what it is? That is crazy. Yeah. Wow.
Across all competitions. So yeah, 42 points for the week, which I think is above average. Feels like I got maybe gained 20 positions. I'm up to 65th overall now.
Nice. I got 41 points. Oddly enough, just one behind you, but you have used a transfer. I didn't use a transfer this weekend. I had Aina's been a good move in for me. Remember when Isak was ruled out a couple of Mondays ago, or 3 Mondays ago? I brought in Aina. And he didn't keep a clean sheet on the night, I don't think. But ever since, he's done well. I think it's 2 or 3 clean sheets in that period. So I've been on 4-4-2 for a little while. Gibbs White has been disappointing, and Haaland. But 41, 4 clean sheets out of my back 5. from 1.2k. I'm in the top 1k for the first time this season, 890 seconds. So I'm really, really pleased with that. But I've got plenty to do with my team because I've got Haaland. I haven't got Salah. My original plan was, I'm not sure now. I may go Haaland to Salah, and then daisy chain out of someone else to get back to Haaland maybe. But I'm going to want Isak next week. I've got 4 Bournemouth players as well, and after the weekend, they go on quite a barren run actually, and a tough run of fixtures on top of the barren run. So even though the fixtures they have got, they've kind of had all their nice fixtures now. So I've got 4 Bournemouth players. So I need to think I'll probably keep Kluivert, I think, at a 2.7. I think he's worth keeping. But Kirkes, Semenyo has been so disappointing. I'm not sure with Kepa really, but I've got 5 transfers to make over the next, and I've only got 10 left over the next sort of 2 or 3 weeks, I think. Up until the point again where you have this, it'll be a double game week, FPL game week 33, won't it? And then the FA Cup. I'm thankful actually because I've got 2 Palace, 2 Forest. I'm glad those 2 have gone through in the FA Cup, so I can leave those in probably until the end now, or not far off until the end. But yeah, just in the top 1k, if I can hold on in the position I've been in to top 1k, I think I said a few weeks ago, top 1k target, top 500 would be an incredible finish from where I was a few months ago. But yeah, reasonably okay. What's your sort of ambition now? You're in the top 100 still, aren't you?
Yeah, I think staying in the top, I've got no aspirations to win it. I think if I stayed in the top 100, I'd be happy. I think the likelihood is that I'm going to go down rather than up from where I am just now with the limited transfers I've got left. I might do something similar with Haaland to what you're doing. I had the exact, I played all my previous moves to the point where with my next 2 moves I could get in Isak and Salah alongside Haaland, and then that would be kind of set, and just use the remaining moves for kind of hygiene moves and extra fixtures along the way. So I may consider that and daisy chain back to Haaland if need be afterwards. Just frustrated because I took out Marmoush for Haaland as well.
Oh no way! That's tough. If only Marmoush had started, you wouldn't have done it, would you?
Nah, and you end up getting more points than him.
And he'll have Leicester midweek as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm definitely not going back to Marmoush now. So it's either Mateta for me alongside Salah and 2 moves midweek, or just move Haaland to Salah and play with what I've got. I think Crystal Palace got extra fixtures in the meantime, and they've got the FA Cup as well. Yeah. So I'll see if I get any more info on Haaland before doing anything. I don't need to do anything until Wednesday anyway, so we'll see how it lies at that point.
Good stuff. Yeah, I've got 10 left. I think I'm probably going to use 4 or 5 in the next 3 or 4 weeks, which will leave me 5 then for the last sort of 4 to 5 weeks of the season, which it's not amazing, but again, considering where I've come from, it's not bad. I'm looking at the ownership as well. I boobed up. I boobed up on the ownership at the start of the season and not going with Palmer, for example. Like this is a learning for me for next year, and I know it's not a popular learning, and I totally get it. But it's happened to me a few seasons on the trot now where I've not gone with a really highly owned player, like a 60% owned player. They're 60% owned for a reason, right? Is they're a really good player. I thought, no, I can go without. And Palmer just destroyed the first half of my season, and I'm still playing catch up from that. So I think I'm sticking with Palmer at the moment. They've got Spurs this weekend. They've got Ipswich in a couple of weeks' time as well. He's still like nearly 70% owned, and that to me is now a bit of a factor, because I know a lot of them will be dead teams and teams lower down, etc., but it seems to be every time one of these sorts of players score, it doesn't matter what the rest of my team does, just get absolutely hammered. So need to think about that. Notice Aina's ownership was huge as well. Isak's is massive. Isak's is nearly 40%. So every time Isak's scored, getting killed. So yeah, I'm just going to try and manage the ownership against the transfer count to try and get a reasonable finish. I'm not going to, trouble the top few hundred places now. So, but yeah, interesting times. Just a few comments. Welcome back, everyone. Nice to see so many players actually play in TFF. Windy says, even in all, Semenyo never again, not even a 10 for 0, collects cards for fun. Maybe they have rare Pokemon on them. And he also missed the early deadline TFF on Saturday, thought it was 12:30. Viney's back, says, good to have you back. And Viney transferred in Haaland, but managed 51 points. So he's up to 15th. Very well played there, Viney. Jason Manners is in. Michael, everyone is here. Said, not a massive fan of TFF, but after using Sky for the last 10 years, I've managed, he's 207th overall with 14 transfers left. Is that any good? That is very good. And you will win the vast majority of your mini leagues if you enter them, Michael. So yeah, do better next year in terms of entering more leagues, and you'll see how good you are for sure. Chris Harvey had a nightmare, missed his flight home, but made it back just in time. This podcast is important for TFF. Yeah, it's hard to understand without that Haaland information. Quite tough, isn't it? And Chris Harvey said need to remove Haaland and Semenyo. I think I'll definitely be doing that over the coming weeks. He talks about Dream Team next. He says started Dream Team in anticipation in the Ultimate League next season. Got 67 this week. Got 44 in TFF. Very well played, Chris. Indeed. Paul, how was your Dream Team this weekend?
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't have a good day on Saturday. And then had a really good day yesterday. So I was going to do Palmer to Eze all week, and
you even texted me that. I looked back because I couldn't believe you didn't do it.
I know, and I changed my mind, and I changed my mind. Like I've done this a few times this season, and thinking one step, like 1 week ahead, and then looking at the following week, and I was like, because I had the Bournemouth players in already from the week before, I was like, those guys have to be my transfers out this week coming. And then I was like, my defence then looks a mess, and I've only got single players there. So, and Eze his scores had been underwhelming, and his bonus had been underwhelming as well. It's not like
completely agree.
He's really good for at least 3 bonus a game. So, I'm still happy now the decision I made, but only based on yesterday's point scores rather than there. So I took out Van Dijk and brought in Konza, who got 10 points yesterday. Nice. So I was happy with that. And then I still had Trent, so I moved Trent onto Munoz, which I think was a really popular move anyway. So I didn't gain much by having Munoz there, but I had a good day yesterday. Also, the 2 Bournemouth players, Clivert, who is well owned, but I brought in Evan Nielsen the week before as a bit of a punt, and I've still got the Ipswich game for him as well. So pretty happy with that. I don't have Rodgers. That's the one locked in transfer for me this week. I've got Haaland as well, so I'll need to see about who I take out. But yeah, 51 points for the week so far.
1 point behind you with 50 points. But yeah, so I just have a look at the fixtures now for next week. We'll have a look at those now. But yeah, I brought in Aina last week when Forest had the good fit. I think they were Ipswich or something, but they conceded, which was disappointing. But he got a 10 point on the weekend, which was nice. So I got a game to play. I did Van Dijk to Munoz, and I did someone. A forward, I think, to Asensio. So I've got Asensio and Rodgers, which I'm quite happy with. Kept Palmer. I still think Palmer's okay for the coming weeks. Looking at my single game plays for next week, was what you were kind of alluding to earlier. I've got 5, but Munoz got Brighton, which I think is fine, and they obviously double the following week anyway. I've got Aina against Villa, but Forest are going to have a couple of doubles now, aren't they? I think. With the FA Cup, it's not. Their game's going to stay in Gameweek, FPL Gameweek 34 actually, because they're playing like a Monday night. So maybe I do have to get rid of him. Clivert's got West Ham, which is okay. Salary to Fulham, I'll probably leave him in. and Haaland. So I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 doublers for next week, which is okay, I think. And I've still got Munoz and Kluivert are fine to keep in. I think I would have kept Haaland, but I was trying to think ahead a little bit. In terms of there's lots of. I'm looking now at my rival. I don't think I had a very good week this week, 50 points, but I've actually had a pretty decent green. And I was looking at kind of my rivals' teams around me. And a lot of them are still stuck with probably a lot of players you don't want to be stuck with going into this next, this next period of games now where there's, there's people still with like Gvardiol, Foden and Haaland and like a 2 or 3 Liverpool and all this sort of stuff. Whereas the teams you probably want to be focusing on now are more Villa, Chelsea, like Spurs from next week. I've seen Spurs run for a couple of weeks. Really nice. And
I just don't know who'll play the games for Spurs though.
I think Solanke will play. I'm not saying he's the best option, but they've got Southampton at home on the weekend.
I genuinely think that he'll go strong team against Chelsea, mass rotation against Southampton.
Do you think?
Then, yeah,
I don't. But we'll see. We'll see. And then obviously,
I think the team that plays Chelsea will be very similar to the team that plays Frankfurt next week, and that the Southampton game wouldn't surprise me if there was like 8 or 9 changes.
I would be surprised, personally, just because there's no need to. They've all had a rest. I know they've been away, but haven't been playing many games. Didn't play on the weekend, but yeah, we will see. But yeah, the focus now is probably on more Europa teams and maybe Arsenal and other teams rather than the historic City, Liverpool, all this sort of stuff. There's not not on the menu anymore apart from Salah, and well, I would have said Haaland, but obviously he's gone as well now. So I'm hoping over the next few weeks that my kind of patience with always trying to think a few weeks ahead will, even though it's bitten me quite a lot, as it bit you this week with the holding Palmer, hoping it'll start to pay off in the sort of medium to longer term. But we will see.
Well, I looked at I'd have kept Van Dijk. That was the move that I wouldn't have made, obviously, because I had to get rid of Trent.
Yeah.
So I was only 6 points so far. I'm only 6 points down from it, but I'm set up better moves wise. So I'm actually, like, as I say, I'm pretty happy I made that call.
Good stuff. My daughter, everyone, in case you're wondering who's coming in. I messaged her, please, when you come in, can you go straight on the settee out of view. Anyway,
couple of questions for you in Dream Team.
Yeah, go on.
Right. Who are you going to captain next week? And I know that what you're going to say. What you're going to say is, I'm not thought about it that much.
I haven't.
But have a look at the next
fixtures. We always
fixtures.
do this like a Monday night. I never look.
Well, I genuinely think next week could be the biggest spread of captaincy in Dream Team this season.
I won't be going for an Arsenal player. Saka might be back on the menu. Apparently he's fit for tomorrow night. So just to chuck that in there as well, because he would be a hell of a differential to getting on early. I won't be going for Saka away to Everton or an Arsenal player. I don't think I'll be going for a Villa player because I think Forest and PSG are 2 really, really hard matches as well. You've got Bruno home to City, away to Olympiacos, which is decent. You can go for someone like Son if you think he's gonna home to Southampton, home to Eintracht is decent as well, and then Chelsea, so probably Palmer. So I reckon Bruno or Palmer or Son. If you're convinced he's not going to play that Southampton game, but I'm not sure. So that would be my quick summary. What are you thinking?
Probably Palmer or Bruno's probably the 2, but
not tempted by Spurs home, double home, and they're away after as well to Wolves and Eintracht again.
Don't think anybody that plays on Thursday plays the weekend. I say maybe there is one or two outfield players, but I don't think they play Southampton.
Fair enough.
It's a gamble, right? But
you're only 14 points behind me now as well, and you've got Evan Neal. that little smile. Everyone saw that. Everyone saw that. You're live. Everyone saw the little 14 points behind me. But I have got Rodgers ahead of you for next week, so I'm a kind of transfer up on you. So
I'm always conflicted by this as well because we're in the tag team league, and I want you to do well for that reason. So actually, every other game I do look at that and think I need to beat on this week. But in Dream Team, I'm not like that.
What are we doing in the tag team? I don't think it's been updated from Saturday evening. We were show 20.
We had done poor on the Saturday, and we'd done well yesterday.
On the Saturday, okay. On the Sunday, okay, interesting. Yeah, we're in the top 2 anyway, which is good. Yeah, FPL. I can't even remember last game week in all. So I know I had a poor week, but.
I had a 59. The average was 4. I'd completely forgotten as well, and I only went into that today. I think the average across the board was 40. I got 59, but I'd taken a -4 to get there. So,
okay,
I think I definitely had a green. I definitely had a green
55
arrow.
is different. I only had 44. I had a poor week. I didn't really have just how it goes. Nothing happening. But big news for those who haven't watched it yet. I would recommend you watching Green Arrow on the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. We were on live last night with Ben Crellin, and Ben Crellin. Holly, could you move, please? And Ben Crellin wildcarded last night. We all had a conversation. I think the Haaland news caused a lot of wildcards, including myself. So I activated last night as well because there was a few. I had Dango, Robinson, and someone else, and they all fell last night. And Ismail Assar went up last night as well, so saved 0.4 there. But yeah, wildcard is active. I didn't have Salah. That was a trick. I sold Salah last game week.
Well, because now he's the standout captain.
Now he's the standout captain. There's no way I wasn't going without Salah, and I would have to had to take a minimum of -4 and still have barely any Palace players. So it didn't make any sense for me. So yeah, I did it. Yourself?
I'm wildcarding as well.
You are wildcarding.
But so I've got bench boost and I've got assistant manager. So my team will look slightly different because
you're going to play assistant manager. You must be,
because I'm going to play assistant manager over 31 to 33. So I'm not going to have the third Palace player, and the reason I prefer that rather than some other convoluted way of doing it and maybe doing assistant manager further down the line is that if you do assistant manager further down the line, you're going to have to use a transfer, or most likely have to use a transfer to maximise the fixtures in it. If the fixtures run out in the way that you expect them to, you'd have to use one from 36 to 37 to move from a doubler to a playing team. So yeah, I'm going to do Glasner and 31 to 33. So
lucky.
Genuine. I think that
Glasner's going to smash it. Glasner's going to smash it over.
Well, there's not if they beat Ipswich, if they beat Southampton and Brighton don't beat whoever they're playing midweek, I won't get tabletop bonus and 31.
Oh.
I don't think it's worked out as well as. Because remember when everyone played it and gave me 24?
Yeah, was it Moyes to Emery to Glasner?
I had made my transfers 5 minutes before the news broke about the fixtures and stuff like that. And I think everybody, no matter what manager run out you played along that period of time, everyone massively benefited. So
you'll do well, mate. You'll do well. Glasner is going to do you well. It's just like it happened last year at Palace. I'm not sure, but out of the 5 games you're going to have over those games with Glasner, I think like 3 or 4 of them are potential for table bonus, and they're on form. They're really on form as well, and the teams they're playing are not on form. So I think there's this huge potential there. I really fancy you to fly up the ranks over these next few weeks. I'll be playing definitely bench boosting 33. I'm not sure on triple captain because we did find out something last night that it looks like 36 is going to be quite a decent double based on the FA Cup final being played in 37, and it looks like, well, either Haaland or Chris Wood are definitely going to have a double in 36. It's very likely they're going to double in 36. It's either that, but Isak does have back-to-back home games in 32, so I could jump in on that. But the benefit really of the triple captain, I don't think it's that much anyway. I'll probably use it in 32. Bench was 33, free hit 34.
If I wasn't playing assistant manager and I was just going to run it in whatever 35 to 37, I would bench boost in 32 rather than 33. I think.
Why is that?
Just like if you look at the fixtures, the home fixtures,
Yeah.
like in 32, I think that those that are wildcard in the template-ish wildcard team, which might as well be close to it as well, even though I'm playing assistant manager, that there's going to be some choice in who you bench. Like all the players that you'll have in the team have really strong fixtures in 32, whereas if you go into 33 and look, I know you might have accrued transfers and stuff at that point. I think Newcastle's fixture is a single away to Villa, and I would probably prefer the 32 singles that you always work out a bench boost, your four worst players, right? Or the four players that you wouldn't play that game week, and I think that the four you wouldn't play in 32 would be stronger than the four you wouldn't play in 33, even factor them in any doubles. But it doesn't really matter now because you don't really need to make you don't need to make that choice anyway.
That. You may come to 32, you may look at your team and the way things line up with injury and form, as we know, it's like it's always easy to say I'm going to play this then, but things happen, don't they?
I always think that you're 3 game weeks out from the wild card to the game week which you're going to bench boost, and it never ever works out in terms of
you're right.
Your doublers and stuff.
Nice to have the choice. Either 32 or 33. It could be depending on what happens with injuries, etc. That it makes absolute sense to go 32. So interesting stuff. You're gonna go.
I guess the only outstanding question on this is whether are you gonna go Saka to start with in your wildcard team or not?
No, I think I'm going Palmer. I think I'm going to give Palmer Spurs this week and Ipswich in 32, and then go to Saka in 33. I think, but I'm saying that Haaland will also double in 33. So can't afford everyone.
Yes, it depends if you beat the budget or not, and how you're setting up your team. Was it 0.6 difference? I think.
Yeah.
Palmer's 0.6 more.
Really quick rundown of my wildcard team so far: Raya, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Munoz, Burn, and I've got Wan-Bissaka. I can't remember why. He's home to Southampton in 33 for the bench, which is decent, and I think they're likely to double in 36 as well. So that I think that's why I couldn't fill. I could get like a Villa defender. Maybe I might do that still. Got another 24 hours exactly. Actually, have a 6. So I need to give it a bit of thought. I'll be looking at Ben Krellin's wild card on the hub before the deadline because he puts a lot more thought into FPL than I do. Salah, Palmer, Sarr. I'm holding on to Kluivert for this week. I just love the Ipswich fixture, and I've gone for Jacob Murphy, who's 5 million. Who really like actually. I think he's good. And
I think I would have to because I need to free up the money for Glasner. That's the reason I'm going Murphy as well.
I like Murphy, and then at the moment, Isak, Marmoush, and Mateta. Though I'm well aware that both Kluivert and Marmoush are probably short-term picks who I'll probably look to get rid of. In 31 or 32 or whatever else. But I think their fixture, I think Marmoush home to Leicester, Kluivert home to Ipswich. If I didn't go with them, it's this thing right of trying to think too far ahead almost instead of taking what's in front of you. It's find this balance all the time. It's amazing how often that happens. You know when you're getting the rub of the green, don't you? And when you're not, because isn't it amazing how things they either all go for you or they all go against you. It's very rare you get the that was okay. It's always if I take them out, like I've taken out Semenyo this week, and I've taken out some good options this week. I know they're going to bang. I'm going to be sick, but It is
Bruno,
very,
Bruno.
very.
But not that Forest away is not a great fixture. Or have you got
No,
Bruno?
I didn't have Bruno. No, I've taken out Semenyo and I've taken out. I can't think who else I've taken out. But it's a good, it's a good couple of players. But yeah, happy. I don't think there's too much more in FPL I could have done based on the circumstances I had at the time. Which normally in FPL I kind of mess up somewhere, but I've been patient all season. And I'm rank wise, like I'm 600k. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But unlike previous seasons, I just don't feel like I've had the rub of the green. I think I played well this year. There's nothing I really look back on and think, oh, what an idiot, or oh, that was rash, or whatever else. So, how do you think you played in FPL this year?
Too stubborn,
Too
probably.
stubborn not to get Marmouche back in TFF this week.
But I would just do Mateta. I think makes much more sense. It gives you the flexibility of holding a bit longer based on the
Yeah.
doubles and the fact that they play in the FA Cup. I'm happy to correct mistakes, but not when I've got the transfer count of which I've got to do so.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. Good stuff. How are we looking in the ultimate leaderboard?
You are sitting just ahead of Ian Parran, who's in
Oh
13th.
wow. Okay.
You are sitting in 12th. Carl Weeks, 11th, who is first in the FPL league for Ultimate Leaderboard. Carl Fisher in 10th. Ben Lee 9th. Martin Burke in 8th. Dale Pointer in 7th. I'm in 6th. We've got Aled Wilcox in 5th. Darren Malloy in 4th. Gavin Shirley in 3rd. Tom Gledall in 2nd. And nobody's stopping Johnny Curry, are they? First and 4th
Wow.
is his
What
rankings.
a performance! Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely
Even
crazy.
if you flip it by the table by points, he's like 130. He's having a James Ingram style
Incredible.
season
Amazing.
that he had last year.
Amazing how it happens again when it all comes together. Absolutely fantastic. Very, very well played there, Johnny. And Johnny as well. He's played at, he's well, I've only really noticed his team in DreamTeam, but he hasn't gone with the template either, and he's still doing incredibly well. He's definitely not a template player. It's worth saying that this hasn't been updated since Saturday at 5 o'clock. So there is a tweak from yesterday to go on. So, but yeah, I'm sure as soon as Mike gets to it, he will update this, and everything will be good. What's your thoughts, I suppose, Paul? Finally, on the rest of the season, with in terms of your teams and where they are, what are your expectations for the rest of the season? Or have you got any hopes?
You'd suggested there that I should be set up pretty well with the chips and such like I've got an FPL. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I think this template on this week and next game week is going to nullify a lot of things, and it's going to be hard. That's my personal opinion, and I feel it's going to be harder to move. And I genuinely think that inside top 500k, which I would um like would have classified that as a poor season for me to start, and probably do for my own previous finishes. I finished 400th last year, but I think FPL is going to be really tough,
Yeah,
regardless of like how much effort I put in the decision making
yeah,
and such like. TFF. I deployed a strategy of using transfers in FA Cup weeks when I probably shouldn't have. There is an element of doing it, but I think I did it too much to the point where I'm going to run out of transfers and that. But again, I have put myself in quite a good spot in it, so I can't look too hastily on it. And I have got most of the players that I want, and the way that teams have progressed in the FA Cup when I've got those cheaper players in, it's worked pretty well. So it's not going to be as interesting an end to the season Telegraph because I've not got
yeah.
I've not got many transfers to play with in that. And in Dream Team, I think I've had a combination of playing well. I have made some mistakes, playing well, um, and I just find the Dream Team the most interesting game because I think player the Telegraph the player pool's big, but I'm one of I think the few people that really like the transfer positioning on Dream Team in terms of you have to make the decisions before deadline. I like the price
Yeah,
fluctuations. If anything, I would argue that I would like to see it more volatile than less volatile. Um, the only thing I would change is that whole if you've got three
single transfer for
transfers,
all a transfer. Yeah,
if you use one of the three, you shouldn't be penalised like that in the rolling transfers. That's the only thing I think I would change on that. But in terms of end of the season, I'm really interested. I think in Dream Team, the player pool is going to open up a lot, quite a
yeah, I
bit,
agree.
the way that the double game weeks are going to work. But at the same time, and you kind of alluded to earlier on about people being stuck with certain players. So you have to be very conscious about the decisions that you're making and not playing the one game week moves in it as well, for sure. So I'm like I could put myself in a spiral position where I pick a certain player and I go on one path and it doesn't work out well. But I think on more than average than not, then I'm good at making good choices in it. So top 15 maybe it's a possibility, but at the same time, I think I could easily drop to maybe 150th or something like that position I'm in.
Interesting on Dream Team, as you say. Like the reason I like Dream Team and like I like all the alternative games probably a bit more than FPL is because in FPL you can screw your team up and you've got like a way out. There's always a way out. You can either wildcard or you can even do a -12. And I know they're quite rare, right? But you can do a -12 and get the same team as everyone else. Whereas you've got to play so pragmatically. Any wrong move in Dream Team, Telegraph, and obviously on Sky can punish you badly. So you need to play. You need to be disciplined. You need to be disciplined in those formats, or you will not be successful unless you strike incredibly lucky. But you can't strike incredibly lucky 4, 5, 6, 7 times a season. So even though certain players do hit one, right? Like, oh my god, I've done it. This game's easy. I've got like a 50-point game, a 50-player game week. Try and do that another 6 times a season. You won't hit one, and I think that's why I prefer the other games is because you control your whole season, and I really think that the way you've performed over the whole season is reflected in your overall rank. I've always said that, whereas I'm not sure that the same is true for FPL. I think that, but that's just personal opinion, and obviously hardcore FPL managers will argue. But I think if you play all the games you've played for a number of years, I think if you were to rate your how you've played against your ranking, it's very rare, that I would say, I think I've played incredibly well in Telegraph, but I'm 10k, or I've played really crap in Telegraph, but I'm in the top 50 for it. It doesn't happen where I think that can happen in FPL.
Well, to testify to that, I finished 400th in FPL last year, and I don't feel I played it I don't feel I played it any differently to how I played it in every other years. So
There you go. Just quickly, I think I'm 600k in FPL. I'd like to think I'm maybe I think being Welsh against your Scottish, I'm a little bit more optimistic than you, or maybe I'm just a fool. But I'd like to think I can maybe I've got all the chips apart from assistant manager, wildcard this week. I'd like to think I can get up in the top 250 potentially. I think in TFF, one of my 892 with 10 transfers. I've been really, really careful with my transfers this last month or two, and I think if I can continue just optimizing the fixture volume, which I have been doing, you're going to naturally organically improve in rank anyway. So I'd like to think I can finish in the top 500 to 1,000 in TFF, which is at the start of the season I would have incredibly poor season based on my last few seasons, but actually considering I was 6k a few months ago with a poor transfer count, I'd be really pleased with that. And Dream Team, even though I was as high as like 15th or 16th a few months ago, I'm 55th now. chance. Well, as you said, really anywhere in between the top 25 and probably 150. To be honest, as you say, it can go either way depending on what you go. But I think now for the first time I'm kind of back in control of my transfers now in terms of I'm making moves I want to make rather than moves I have to make. So just quickly, Samuel Alia in the chat has asked best captain this week. I'm not sure if he's on about DreamTeam or FPL. Probably Salah for FPL. For Gameweek 30.
Would definitely be the highest captain.
It'd be the highest. And yeah, we said probably either Palmer or Bruno, maybe. Maybe if you want to punt a Spurs player, if you want to punt home to Southampton, home to Eintracht as well. I think they're the captain options there. Ray's in the chat as well. Great to have you with us, Ray. Tim WD, just to finish, Paul, can we debate pizza toppings? I just wanted to ask this. I know we debated it a couple of times before, but I went to Italy last week on holiday, and just Italian pizza. Have you been to it? You've been to Italy, haven't you, Paul?
Yeah.
Italian pizza. I mean, I just have the excuse my pronunciation. Any Italians, we have the Diovala, just like the spicy salami one. But every single one I had anywhere I went. It was absolutely insane. So yeah, just highly recommend a trip to Italy and have the pizza and the pasta and the cocktails and wherever else. Quick, anything in the last few months? I think
you like ham and pineapple, right?
I do like ham and pineapple. I wouldn't choose it, but I would eat it.
Yeah, not for me. But I'd eat mostly any other topping. But I like the Diavolo, I would call it. But
I think it ends in an A, and I think it ends in an O in Britain, but ends in an A in Italy. I think kind of like Roma or whatever. Barbecue base, tomato base. If you had to pick one now, deathbed.
Tomato.
Oh, really?
Base.
I think on barbecue meat feast is my sort of go-to. But anyway,
almost makes it not like a pizza in my eyes for somehow.
I kind of get that. I'm not a massive tomato fan. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I like it on pizza. I like it on different things, but I would never eat a tomato like an apple, like my daughter does. I went to watch Wales and Kazakhstan last week, and I had a pizza for ages. Sorry, this is sort of pre-Italy. But we got a massive square pizza as well. Did you? I can't remember. I saw something on social media, something like two 6-inch pizzas. Like a 10-inch square pizza has more pizza than 2 6-inch pizza, or something like that. But anyway, the point is, I got a square pizza, a 12-inch square pizza, and it would have fed the 5,000. So I would recommend that as well. Next time you're down in Barry, Paul, we're going to Pizza Boy Barbecue Meat Feast. It will feed the street. Are we done for the evening? Anything else to add before we go?
No. Good. Yeah, looking forward to the midweek games.
Weekend, all kicks off now, mate. We'll be back at some point next week. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We really appreciate it. And we will see you next week. Cheers all.